We're living in a very difficult time. Because of the great virus, we're all being kept in our homes. I'm sure you're hunkering down like Janelle and I are. We don't get out. We try to stay connected by phone and by the internet, and even the churches are doing that. Unable to meet, many are having online services. I'm interested in all of us, and I'm interested in our beloved Florida College. This has been a terribly tough year for Florida College. Starting off with a great enrollment and wonderful spirit and great enthusiasm, they were hit in the early part of this year with a student on campus who had the measles. And the effect of that was the cancellation of our annual lectureship. And the lectureship is a time when many of the college supporters and friends are together. It's a great time for encouragement, for enthusiasm, and it's a great time for fundraising for the college. But the lectures were canceled. Then just a few weeks later, here comes the virus that's affecting not just the campus of Florida College, but the whole world. And it's affecting brethren everywhere. It's affecting our friends and supporters. And it's a very trying time for any group of people like the college. But this is not the first time the college has had difficult times. The college really began under difficult circumstances. Florida didn't have a lot of people who were supportive to this kind of education at the time the school started. But through the years, the school was able to operate. And the major factor in all of that was its people. The faculty and staff were committed to the idea of the college and totally supportive to its mission and goal. They worked under adverse circumstances. Don't feel sorry for me. But when I first started working at Florida College, my salary was $175 a month. Janelle and I lived in a little apartment on 3rd floor in the old apartment building that later became Boswell Hall and has now been rebuilt. And it was tough times. Both of our children were born while we lived there. And Janelle washed diapers in the bathtub and carried them up and down 3 sets of steps and tried to beat the afternoon rains in Florida. But we had it well. Duty and Wanda Walker lived in an apartment where their bedroom had no actual ceiling. The plaster had fallen off, and they looked up into the flooring of the apartment that was above them. They did better than the married students that lived in the same building. And the man was in bed one night asleep when a chunk of that plaster over his bed fell, hit him on the head, and sent him to the hospital. But we survived it. Why? People. The people that made the commitment that it's worth the sacrifice to be a part of Florida College. Through the years, many major problems have come. perhaps none more severe than when the president of the college was under fire because Florida College took the position that, being a human institution, it should not be supported by churches. And there was a major problem among our brotherhood that divided the whole brotherhood over whether you could take money out of the church treasury to support human organizations. At the time, several members of our board, including the chairman, favored taking the contributions from churches, but a number of the board members were opposed to it, and the administration was totally opposed to it. A board meeting was held, and the chairman of the board, who was one of the major contributors to the college, gave an annual contribution that was really supporting the school. And he was interested in firing the president because of this issue. Now the problem came in the board that the policy was that any motion had to be carried by a 2/3 vote. So both sides were hesitant to make the motion, because if you made the motion, you had to have 2/3 support or your motion died. So the meeting went on all the day. It hung into the night, and a number of us from the faculty were huddled in Jim Cope's office, fingers crossed and prayers being said. Finally, about 10 o'clock that night, the meeting broke up. I didn't really know the result of the meeting, but it fell my lot to drive the chairman of the board to the airport for him to fly home to Jacksonville. Nothing was said during that drive. He said thank you when he got out. Found out later that they had made the motion to fire the president, and the motion did not carry. So several of the board members got up and walked out, never to return. That issue troubled the whole brotherhood and made a major impact on student recruitment. As our numbers fell, it became a critical time for the college budget. What could be done? In the North, the people had not had time to build a community college system that later emerged, and there were thousands of young people who couldn't get into the colleges in the North. Jim Finney was preaching in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. Harry Pickup Sr. was our recruiter, and they were good friends. And Jim Finney opened doors in high schools all around Jersey. And Harry Pickup Sr. went, talked to the students, and recruited numbers of them. I was dean of students at the time, and I want to tell you, it was a trying time, because we had a major segment in our student body totally unprepared and unsupportive to the types of campus rules that we had. It was a trying time, but once again, faculty and staff were the answers. And we survived it. Over the years, recruitment continued to be a major issue. And the thing that emerged as the greatest recruitment tool for the college was the summer camp program. Now, summer camps didn't begin as a recruitment tool for the college. The fact of the matter is, when my kids were little, Janelle and I, her sister and brother-in-law, Roy and Patricia Lanier, and Paul and Frank Andrews and their wives, Doris and Corrine, the four couples, decided that we would try to operate a little summer camp in order to give our kids a basis of camaraderie and some Bible classes and some recreation. We used the Florida College campus, and we operated the camp for several years. And the camp grew, and it was a labor of love, I'll tell you that. We operated 3 weeks at a time on campus, and we had no air conditioning, and it was midsummer, and it was hot, but we made it. After a few years, the administration in the college raised some problems that said that this summer camp was making it difficult for them to get the dorms ready for the opening of school. So we moved the camps off premises. It only took about a year or two for the administration to wake up to the fact that this was a great recruiting tool. And so the Alumni Association took the task of operating the school. And David Tan in particular, in Florida, worked with the college and worked with the camps. And the camps began to grow. And then brethren all over the country began to say, we need a camp in our area. Harry Pickup Jr. by this time was our main recruiter, and he saw the value in the camps and gave great support to the growth of summer camps in many places. You know what it did? It not only introduced young people to the college campus idea, but it was a place that brought together our supporters and kept them in tune with what was going on at the college. And that has proved to be a wonderful tool for our support. Yes, there were other problems. Always there's the financial problem. When I became president of the school, we had a debt, and money was very tight. At the end of the school year, we would run out of money, and we had to borrow money from the banks in order to pay salaries and to operate during the summer. Then when the new enrollment came and money came back into the coffers, we'd pay off that debt and start working on a new year. That had gone on for years. Over the next several years, we set our caps to it and not only paid off that debt, but were able to accumulate enough resource that we operated during the summers without borrowed money. That was a major milestone for the school, and we prospered well on those days. Other problems did come, of course. Many problems came that affected the student body personally. We had several hurricanes that scared them all to death because most of them didn't come from Florida. And here they were in Florida, and the hurricane was surely going to blow us all away. Well, it didn't. A major problem did come, though, when Russia began moving missiles into Cuba and threatened the United States with missiles just 90 miles away from our coast. It was called the Great Missile Crisis, and John Kennedy set his cap and challenged the Russians that they had to remove those missiles, and some very testing times came. So much so that there were times that we put mattresses over the windows in the dormitories and prepared ourselves for a possible attack. Planes were flying out of MacDill Air Base here in Tampa, making a 25-minute junction down to Cuba, filming the operations there. The president had challenged the Russian government and demanded that the missiles be removed. It was a testing time, and our students rose to the occasion. They hunkered down like we're hunkering down. They stayed careful, and our faculty and staff continued to support not just the principals of the college, but these kids that were here from all over the country. Little things like that have happened through the years, and Florida College has survived. We're facing a major problem now. And do you know what the solution will be? Same as always. Our people. A dedicated faculty and staff willing to work at less than normal pay in order to provide a service that they deem as good before man. And we have thousands of supporters throughout the world, many of whom make regular contributions to the college. They're going to be under special pressure now because jobs are threatened, churches are having difficulty, and it's not just Florida College that's under pressure. But I'm hoping and I'm praying that we will all survive this, both individually, church-wise, and for our good old Florida College. And that we will be able to look back one day and say, you know, that COVID-19 crisis was really tough. But we came through with the help of God, with the help of our friends, and Florida College continues to serve the youth of the day. I'm praying for that. I hope you will too.